be up there at the same time.
Hello, everybody. Welcome to Witches and Warlocks. I'm the Black Fit Witch.
I'm Galactic Honey.
And we are back. I know y'all missed the conversations, but we back with more conversations
Yeah.
on today. We are talking about why detaching is necessary. And we're talking about detaching within your partnership or within your connection and why we believe that it is necessary because we've both been through having to detach from our partner. And it's various reasons why, but we're going to get into a few reasons why we believe why detaching is necessary. And I want to share before we really get into the topic that I love this month because it's the energy of love, and everything that I have to do at my job is centered around connections, self love, connections with your partners, connections within couples. Everything this month is just about love, family connections, connecting with your family, your significant other, and yourself. So, just wanted to put that out there just to make sure that during this energy of love, of course, they say Wednesday is official love day, but I take the whole month along with, of course, Black History Month, but just giving yourself the love that you need, those people that are around you, making sure that they're getting the love that they need, and just good communication. So if you feel like someone in your space or your family that, not communicating how they feel, or you can tell something's off, just kind of like reach out to them and just show them some extra love, or kind of get how they feel, because this is the time to really just share more love with those that are around us. So I really want to put that out there because I feel like we're in that energy now to really do that. But going back to why detaching is necessary, you want to share anything, Galactic Honey?
Um, well, I truly feel that the love energy is definitely here. I want to touch on that part first because you did bring it up with the love energy. The love energy is definitely here. It's in the air. It's with the ancestors. It's just I feel love all around me. Um,
Mm-hmm.
and when it comes to divine partnership, I really feel like the love is definitely amplifying at this moment, at this time. And I also feel that makes me understand why it is necessary to detach. Um, my experience with detachment, at first, I didn't believe in detachment because I didn't feel like it was a problem, which is kind of funny now because back the couple of years ago, you couldn't have told me that. Like you couldn't have told me that detachment was necessary. I felt like it was toxic to
Mm-mm.
going back and forth and, you know, coming together and separating, coming together and separating and stuff like that. But now, being where I am now, I understand that it's very much necessary because when your partner or you are not in a place where you are in harmonious union, where you are actually connecting with each other harmoniously. Um, Detachment is very much necessary in those moments because one, you need to go back and figure out where you put your power and why you let it, like why you allowed person, place, or thing to take your power from you. Detachment always helps me to regain and rediscover my power. And honestly, each time I have detached from my divine partner, my power has come back 10 times, like 10, like it has like amplified in those times of separation. My power, once it was returned, once I actually called it back to me, And once you call it back, you go through a series of realizing how you gave your power away. Those moments helped me to become even more powerful within myself. So those, and also gave me clarity. Sometimes attachment is necessary just because you need clarity. Sometimes when you are so close with your partner, you cannot see or gain clarity on what you need to gain clarity on. I think it has a lot to do with the lessons that you learn within the connection. My partner can do something. He used to do things that I felt was like so unorthodox, and it was just so, like I would be like, where did this come from? Everything was fine just a week ago, but everything was fine. But then all of a sudden, something would come into play, and I just would not understand it. And I would I would have this kind of, even though I was still kind of like playing my role, I still had this type of resentment. And just like when your partner expresses their insecurities, or they express something to you that you don't find favorable, that causes like kind of like a rift in the connection to where you're not on the same page anymore. That detachment is necessary, because sometimes clarity doesn't come to you right in the moment that you are in. Sometimes it's like a process, that it's like a puzzle that you have to put together sometimes, or a process that you have to go through in order to get your mind state back in a place where you can understand why this happened, or why your partner said that, or why your partner did that, things like that. To me, it's like and it also helps you to reconnect spiritually, because sometimes when you are connected in the physical, you only pay attention to the physical. The spiritual aspect kind of fizzles away a little bit. And um and I don't think that it's like done purposely or anything. I think that it's because you're so close to where you just the it's like you only paying attention to the 3D, what's happening here, what's happening there. And so you're not listening to his higher self, you're not listening to her, your own higher self. You just in those moments, and you're living in that 3D moment, but you're a spiritual being. So I believe we get separated so that we can regain that spiritual connection back, which is where the magic happens to me. That's where the magic is, when in the partnership or in the spiritual connection. The magic to me is in that spiritual connection with each other, that connection that you have to his higher self, his higher being, or her higher being, wherever you are. But it makes me feel, it's like almost like once I get reconnected with the higher aspect and the spiritual aspect, then that's when all of the clarity comes in on why certain things had to happen the way that they did, why the separation had to happen, you know, the way that it did. Or even sometimes the clarity comes in on what my partner was really trying to say, but couldn't say it in the way that I felt like he should be able to say it like that. So it gives it gain you regain clarity, is the main thing. You regain clarity, and you regain that spiritual aspect back into the partnership.
And it's just like what you just stated. I know there's been times that I've had to detach, but it only came when I gained more self-confidence in
Hmm.
who I was
Yeah.
as part of the connection, because we get into these connections because we've never been in this type of divine partnership before. So we do come in with a little bit of what we've done in the past. And like we talked about before, like what we've done in the past doesn't work for these higher frequency connections.
Mhm.
So you'll see yourself, maybe putting more energy into them because you haven't experienced a connection like this before. You want to be with them, and things are kind of like here and there. And when you detach, like you were saying before, you release that attachment because we really shouldn't be attached to anything. So the
Right.
detaching is necessary because you're not supposed to be attached to anything in this realm. So everything should be free flowing. You don't own anybody, nobody owns you. Nobody is like that's mine and this, it's not he's mine and she, we should freely be able to be in a connection that just flows. And even I had to learn that within my partnership because even though I had elevated in some aspects spiritually, I still had these 3D thought processes of what a relationship or a connection is supposed to look like from the perspective of what I've done before and what I've heard before and what I've seen before. And I had to get out of that mindset of like, and it really was my partner was like, why are you putting all of this in and why can't we just flow? He was like, why can't we just flow? And I thought about it, I'm like, yes. And then he'll always bring me back to that, just relax. Why can't we just flow? And so detaching was gave me time, and you never know what the time limit is on it. It's like whenever is needed. And of course, source knows, but the detaching is needed for you to come back to self. I know for me, I had to gain more, I would say, strength in who I was as an individual, more confidence in who I was and what I brought to the table as individual. You may have to review and just do a scan over like, damn, I'm a really good person. I'm a really good catcher. I'm really beautiful. I'm really smart. I'm really creative. I really somebody would love to be with me. You have to kind of go back
Mhm.
and just review like who I am and
Yeah.
what I bring to the table is something that is magnificent and it's very unique, and sometimes when we get so attached to someone else, we'll lose all of that wonder and that uniqueness and we forget about all of what we are because we're so I would say, um, just overwhelmed with the love connection that you share, that you kind of drift off to all the wonderful aspects of who you are. So detaching just gave me the opportunity to go back and be like, damn. And when it did that, I gained more of confidence of being able to speak of what I deserved and what I needed. Like when you were saying, getting your power back. So that's part of getting your power back because once you do a review of how wonderful you are as an individual and building that confidence back up in who you are as a physical being, then it's like that higher self steps in. It's like, okay, now you understand and you see yourself the way that we see you in all these planes of existence. Now we can bring in all of this power and put it into you.
Mhm.
Now we'll allow this connection to come back. And
Yeah.
when the connection comes back, because that detachment was necessary in order for you to gain the fullness of who you are, which is gaining your power back of understanding who you are as a being here in this reality and all the wonderful aspects and the tools that you have, you go back into the connection with that understanding and knowing. And now the way that you communicate and even the way that you nurture the relationship is different than it was before and it becomes mutual. Now it's and not just me all into you
Yeah.
and never and all you into me, but it's a mutual. You're into me, I'm into you, but we balance it out. We understand that you need time, I need time. We communicate. We both have to grow spiritually. We're both are communicating freely, and we don't put any type of strongholds or attachments on the relationship that we know when we need time to separate and grow, we're able to do that. And I know for
Mhm.
me, it took me a few times to get in and out of relationship before I really gained the confidence and understanding of my power. Because when I first connected with my partner, I was kind of like, I had been through a few relationships, but nothing was like this. And I was coming out of something that was low vibrational. And so when I got with him, now I was trying not to treat it like the same relationship, although I brought in some of the dynamics of that, but that hadn't fully came off of me. So it took me some time to kind of elevate myself, and that detaching was necessary to elevate, understand who you are, because you sometimes when you are so um I would say connected and enthralled with the person that you're with, that you can lose sight of who you are and what you're here to
Mhm.
do and everything that you are. And I had lost sight of that. And when I got out of it, it all came back to me because I ain't do nothing but have time to pour into me. Like that's all I
Mhm.
had time to do was focus on me and being able to allow other men to share with me how they saw me and felt about me. And that even more so was like, damn, I had to review myself for a minute. Was like, damn, okay, this is well, why was I even accepting that shit? Why was I even allowing? Why wasn't I communicating? You know, and it really wasn't on him. It was the fact that I wasn't communicating certain things. So when I came back, I'm freely able to communicate now without fear, like we've talked about before. And that detaching was so necessary in order for me to get to that point to be able to do that. Because if I was still in there, if
Mhm.
I was still in that relationship, it wouldn't have gave me that growth process that I needed to recognize who I was.
Right, right. And it's so important for you to recognize who you are and why you are,
Hmm.
because a lot of times I can't tell you how many times I have lost myself inside of relationships. Like I cannot tell you, and I have not have been in many relationships, but I have had a few situationships. So, and I've been married before, and I completely lost who I was when I was in my marriage. Um, I was the person that did like I always kept myself up. I always kept myself up. I mean, this could have played out too because I became a mother. I had children back to back, so that could have also played a part in it too. But I completely lost myself in who I was, and like it was like I would look at photos, and I'm just like, who is this person? Like I don't recognize her. She does not have her hair done. She's not smiling like she used to. And then that's like from the marriage. But then when I was dating my divine partner, when I was dating him, it was like I went back to that person. Like it was like it's almost like within this connection you come in, it's almost like I came in kind of lost, and then found myself again, right? I was
Hmm.
already in the process of finding myself after I had separated from my husband. But when I came into this connection, it was like, oh, things are like amplified. Like I wanted to always make sure, like I went back to what I used to do in my 20s, and I was doing my hair all the time. I was always making sure my nails was done. Like basically treating myself like I was a person again, like a
Hmm.
woman again. Like I had lost that for so many years. And um then I went into a then I went into a spell again. This is how I knew I was too involved with my divine partner. I was too rooted and too like in him, right?
Hmm.
And then I kind of like went on a spree of shedding this old skin, like shedding the fake parts of myself, kind of like that. So I didn't know who I was again. Like I was literally trying to figure out. And in the middle of that detachment and being in that detachment mode, I would come back as a different person every time. It was so
Mhm.
it's so funny because I left and I was wearing crochet and I was wearing my braids and I was wearing all this. And then I come back this last time and I have locks. You know what I'm
Mhm.
saying? Like I went into a completely different person. It's like being inside of this connection literally has helped me to take the mask off. Like I have peeled this all of these layers from all of these different sources or people that I have come into contact with through over the years, things that have dimmed my light and things that have brightened my light. Like I went through all of that, and then now it's like I'm here. It's like I'm like through the detachment though. It's like I was able to literally find myself. Like I'm
Mhm.
not the fake version of me. And I used to think I was so real, which really blows my mind. It really blows my mind because I used to think I was so real. I'm like, I'm the realest. Like nobody is really gonna think that I'm so real. But really, I was really hiding behind friends. I was hiding behind a lot of things that like really dim my light.
Hey, Mason.
Go, go. 9:25. Okay, close the door. He's the timekeeper. Okay.
Uh-uh.
So, but I went through all of these things of really dimming and brightening my light and dimming it and brightening it. And so it was like I had was able to shed all of that.
He's so cute.
No, y'all need to go to bed. Go ahead. Close my door.
Okay. He said okay.
Okay. Do you see that blanket over his head? I'm so sick.
Yes.
So sick. So sick of you.
It's pouring down. Oh my God.
Is it? It
And
hasn't
it is
started
over
over here
here.
just yet. But but yeah, it's really helped me to find myself, like my true authentic version. I'm still like on that journey of really bringing forth the highest version of myself, but I feel like that's what the detachment kind of calls for, that
Mhm.
like your divine partner wants you in your power.
Mhm.
This partner is here to help you become the greatest version of yourself, just like you are there to help them. And
Exactly.
they are expecting for you to be in your power. They like I feel like my divine partner finds that it's sexy for me to be in
Mhm.
my power. It's sexy for me to be confident. It's sexy for me to be, just authentically me.
Mhm.
And I ain't gonna lie, he done had a lot of work on his hands to help to pull back them layers of the version of myself that I really thought I was, and I really wasn't that version. That's really not me. That's really not who I am. That version of me like went out a whole lot, like just would do things that I know I didn't want to do. I didn't have no voice when it came to that version of myself. Now I'm
Mhm.
very outspoken. Like when I feel like something is not right, or just when I don't want to do something, I just don't do it. I'm not gonna sugarcoat it. I was like, I don't want to do it. It's like I don't want
Mhm.
to do that. I don't feel like this. Like I'd rather sit at home in my bed. Like that's my place. Where you at right
Mhm.
there? Like that's
Mhm.
like sitting in my bed. That's like my comfortable place, and I'm okay with it. I find I have a lot of peace with it. But it used to be a time where I felt like it was wrong. Like you know what I'm saying, to literally sit in your own energy and like evaluate your thoughts, evaluate how you feeling. Like I would use so many things to mask like my feelings and what I wanted to do, and like now it gives me comfort. Like now too much noise is just too much. Like I just let me sit right here and get myself together, and in a minute I'm be okay and I can come back out. But it took a lot for me to get there. I'm 38 now. Like it took a lot for me to get to that point of really being okay with the new version of myself. Like I used to think that I would I feel like my higher self has been trying to force me into this type of solitude for a long time, and I just wouldn't let it happen. I was just even with children, I just feel like I'm supposed to go out sometimes. Like I feel like I
Mhm.
used to feel like it was so wrong to um always be at home. I used to feel like it was torture. Like I used to feel all of these things, and now I find so much comfort in it. It's like it's not what I thought. You know, when you get bored, you know, you feel like you have to do something because you're just used to doing it. And now I just don't feel like that. It's like now I don't even know what boredom is because I find like I do any like meditation. If I'm just sitting there with myself in silence, I'm okay. Like I'm literally okay with it. And this is the version that this is a more confident version. Like a more aware, you know what I'm saying, of
Mhm.
myself. I used to didn't even like my feelings. I used to hate crying because I felt like it was weak. You know,
Mhm.
there's a lot of things that I used to do that now I'm just like, I just need to get this down. Now I'll be okay. And it
Because
happens.
those things that have been told to us, like that's weak if you do this and this, that,
Mhm,
and or you supposed to be out like you young, you supposed to be out having fun at the club doing this. Like that's not even. It has to be a balance, and I think within
mhm,
the spiritual walk, like the more mature you get spiritually, you understand where solace actually lies, and it's not so much being out like, and that's and that comes with spiritual maturity, like because
mhm,
you'll see people who are 50, 60 years old and still out in the streets because they haven't spiritually matured to the point that they understand where peace and solace lies in actual the growth and the, I would say, the leveling up factor that comes with being
mhm,
in a safe space in meditation. Even my partner shared yesterday, he was like, it felt good for him. He said the other day, he said he just had on the Jeffersons, but he wasn't watching it. He said, I watched a little bit of it, I was laughing. He said, I just laid across the bed in quiet peace. He said, I didn't have my phone. He said, sometimes I like to not even have my phone next to me
mhm,
and just lay down and just relax and just be in peace. And I told him, I said, that's good. I said, that's self care right there. I said, that a lot of men don't do. I said, so self care is what all of us got to do. And that's detaching. Like detaching is so huge. Just like we was talking about, it's a month of love and this energy is around, like that's first and foremost. So detaching away from the social media, the phones, even from your partner, like when
mhm,
we say detaching is necessary, like you just brought up something like that's in all aspects because that gives you more time to commune with the divine energy of source that you need to be able to hear, to connect with self, to stay on mission with what you have to do in this realm. But if you got all this other chitter chatter going on, and you always out, or you always trying to be in a connection where you can't communicate well, you don't know why it's failing or things not going the way that you think it should go, maybe take a step back and detach from a lot of things. And that can go for anything in your life, I feel
mhm.
like when things just it feel
And
like things are
all of it.
forced. Yeah, like you forcing stuff, just step back and detach
Mhm,
and let go, and then go and just connect with yourself in meditation or movement or whatever that looks like, and then you'll receive the answers. I know one of the things like what you said, like even within the partnership, like the partnership is not going to connect the way that it should if you haven't done those things you need to do. And
mhm,
so you may think it's like your partner may not be giving you the attention that you need, or your partner may not be with you the way you want them to be, or be doing the things that you want them to do. Like it's really not your partner. That's really like a message from the universe
mhm,
for you to step back and detach. It's kind of like they're acting it out, but that's only being acted out so you can get the message, so you can step back. And if you don't, it'll just get louder and louder and louder till you get to a point where, like, hey, like what, like things that I used to accept in a relationship. I used to accept the fact that, oh, he called me here and there, or I may not hear from him all week. And then the last straw was I hadn't heard from him in 2 weeks. And I was like, what the fuck? Like, it's 2 weeks. And then you come back and talking about you had to take your mommy. I'm like, no, that was the last straw for me. So that's when I was like, okay, like it had already been building up for me to detach, but I wasn't strong enough to just be like, just let it go. I was so timid. It was like my
Mhm.
energy was timid. And so it had got so loud to the point I'm like, I can't take this. Like, this is ridiculous. And he'll even bring it up with like, you don't remember you came up here and you was just loud and I told you was getting loud and you just, I said, because I didn't know any other way to express myself and I know it had to get out and it was hard for me to get it out, but saying it and then detaching allowed me to go back within myself and just receive all the information about who I was and the confidence so we could reconnect and then I understand everything. But sometimes your partner, I want y'all to recognize that too, like sometimes your partner will play these different roles and do different things within the connection, and it's not really them, but the universe is
Mhm.
trying to get your attention of like, hey, you're putting too much energy over here when it
Mhm.
needs to be over here. And once it gets to whatever your level is, when you like, hey, fuck this, like I can't do this shit no more, like I can't, you know. And I don't want you all to think, and every situation is different, but you'll know. I don't want you to think like your partner ain't shit and he ain't about nothing or she ain't about nothing and they treat me like garbage. Like,
They're playing a
really,
role.
is they playing a role and they are a reflection of you. It always goes back to, it's not them, it's you. We've talked
Mhm.
about that before. Like, if they are sharing with you something, an aspect of you that you don't like, or you may say
Mhm.
an aspect of them that you don't like, it's really something in you that you need to work on.
Mhm.
You need to go back and be like, okay, like this is happening too much. We're sharing this so you'll already have that awareness to not shift the blame on somebody when it's really you, and you
Mhm.
can look at it as a time to separate, detach, and not think of it in a negative way like, hey, we ain't gonna be together no more and woo 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 woo, but
Right.
think of it as a time like, hey, this is a great time for me to level the fuck up. And so
Yes.
whether it's with this person or not with this person, it really doesn't matter. It's my time to level up. And if it's for us to reconnect from the detaching, then that's great. And if it's not for us and it's somebody even better, then that's great because I didn't
Mhm.
know really who I was. Like, if you haven't leveled up, you really don't know all the power and all the greatness that you have within, because you can only see what you can see at the
Mhm.
level that you're on. Once you level up, you can kind of see more of who you are and the greatness that you are. And then you can kind of wait and be like, does this even match with me anymore? It may not, or does this person take this time to do the same level of work that I did? Does this even match anymore? Or does the universe have something even greater? Because cosmic partnerships, divine connections are just that. They are just the divine connection, which I feel like is like the mirror image of your soul connecting with something that is a vibrational match for you. And that vibrational match can come in the same person or it can come in a different person. It does not matter. That vibrational match can come, but you have to do the work and level up. And I feel like they just like doing that. They kind of like
Mhm.
pushing you to like,
Yeah.
hey, we ain't gonna go out. Be like, damn, what? I ain't gonna do this. What? I ain't gonna call
Yeah.
you. You know what I'm saying? Like, all those are little nudges until they just keep on building up a huge crescendo to it's like, fuck that, like, nah.
Yeah. And if your divine partner is not paying you any attention, you know why? It's because it's the mirror effect. You're not paying
Mm-hmm.
yourself any attention. And
Mm-hmm.
so they're gonna play that role for you because
Yep.
it's like you are the feminine energy, but they are the masculine energy, your masculine energy pushed out. So they're gonna be reacting, they're gonna be acting out what your masculine is trying to tell you on the inside. And so
Mm-hmm.
that right there in itself has given me. I've had so many lessons with that that now it's like, okay, I automatically go, okay, what do I need to reassess within me?
Mhm.
So when my divine partner came to me and he told me he started telling me all of his his insecurities without telling me his insecurities. And
Mhm.
then I thought everything was good. But
Mhm.
he started to talk to me about he was like, why you don't go out? He was like, you can go out. And I was like, I don't want to go out. I don't want to go nowhere. You know what I'm saying? I
Mhm.
was like, I'm at home with my kids. See, that was my excuse. Like, I'm at home
Mhm.
with my kids. Like, I like to stay at home with my kids. And he was like, okay, so you at home with your kids. So what your kids thinking right now? And I just really couldn't understand where this coming from. Like, what are you saying?
Exactly.
Like, what are you trying to say? And then he
Mhm.
was like, what are your kids? What are you at home with your kids? You say you at home with your kids, and that's what you're doing. But
Mhm.
what is your kids thinking right now? Like, where they
Mhm.
mindsets at right now? Like, I bet you don't even know what they thinking. And I'm thinking to myself, like, okay, so now you're attacking me. You know, like, so now this is an attack. Okay, so I started like, I'm like, okay, don't react. It's gonna
Mhm.
be good. Just don't react. You're gonna get to the bottom of what he's really trying to say.
Exactly.
And he was saying, he was like, well, he was like, and he was like, so what you gonna do? He said, you can't just revolve your life around me. So what you gonna do? Like he was dead ass serious, no laughing, no shit. And I was like, I work a fucking 9 to 5. Like, how dare you?
Exactly.
But what he really was saying was, I'm not meant to work for other people. Like, I'm really not meant to do that. And my sole purpose is to do what I love to do and to do,
Mhm.
like, do, get paid to be me.
Mhm.
That's my whole thing is me being paid to be me. And so, and I have expressed that to him before, but I never expressed him what I was working on. So
Mhm.
in those moments, it caused a rift. It caused us to have to separate because now I don't know if this is my enemy or my, what I'm saying, my man. I'm
Yeah.
like, whose side are you on? You know what I'm saying?
Exactly.
And this is another way that you can really test if these are divine partners because your divine partner is gonna test you. Like it's not gonna
Mhm.
always be peaches and cream. Like the way you're thinking, the way you think that you supposed to lead your life, like the things that you put into the universe that you want to do and the things that like my main thing was I wanted to be a mother when I left my relationship with my ex-husband is I wanted to be a mother. Like I didn't feel like I was being a mother when I was with him. And so that was my main thing. And so he only brought up those things that I felt like, I was like, damn, I'm thinking I'm being a good mama. Like, I think I'm a good mom. He was like, that's not what I'm talking about. We know you a good mama, but that's not what I'm talking about. You talking about you here with your kids, but you
Yeah.
sitting right here in this bed and you watching this TV. And I'm thinking to myself, like, but what's wrong with that? Like, nigga don't know peace when he see it. Like, that's what I was thinking to myself, like, motherfucker don't know peace when he see it. Like, damn. But as that's through the separation, because right after that, we ended up separating. And through that separation, it was like I just like things started to play out in my household that made me think like, damn, that motherfucker was right. Like,
Mhm.
oh, like damn. Okay, but it really is not him. It's really me. It's really me
Mhm.
playing out through him, and like it's not gonna always come out like you wanted to, but sometimes you need it to come out like this so you can get on your shit, so you can get your
Yeah.
ass to work and stop thinking that things are just supposed to just come to you, which they do. Mind you, you can magnetize a lot of things to you. But what I'm saying is a lot of times we will sit and get too comfortable with where we are, knowing that we are meant for greater things, knowing that we are meant to do more. And so basically he was that fire that he put up under my ass, and I was like, what I'm saying, ouch, that hurt. Like I really did cry all night long off of that conversation because I just couldn't believe where it came from. I'm thinking like, where did this come from? Everything was so good. But that's how this sometimes these partnerships work, is that it's like abrupt. Sometimes it could
Mhm.
be very abrupt and you could be like, well shit, like everything was good. Like, how did we get here? But you have gotten too comfortable with the 3D and haven't realized that you are completely giving your power away and you are not doing what you are meant to do or meant to, or supposed to do here in this reality. So I was way too comfortable with where I was. And
Mhm.
so if I told the universe, like, I want to be a mother, like that's my main thing, I want to be a mama, I need to know what my kids are thinking. I need to know what they're watching. I need to know, I need to be in their business. You get what I'm saying? And
Mhm.
so I was also in the middle of a grieving process. I was in grieving too. So I really was like, get out of my room. Don't come in here. I was like, just not really paying attention to that, to the fact that they are grieving too.
Mhm.
So when those things started to play out in the household, I'm just like, oh, okay. Now
Yep.
I get what my higher self is really trying to tell me through him.
Mhm.
You get what I'm saying? So he's just playing the part. Like he slept like a baby afterwards.
Mhm.
Like he's literally just playing the role. And so I had to go back within throughout this whole separation. I had to go back through within and I had to go back and reassess what I had already been putting out. I started a business throughout that part. I like literally had to get a handle on, my kids' mental health and how to help them to how to deal with the grieving process because I just felt like if I was okay, they was okay. Like, and I'm honestly, I don't even, and looking back at it now, I really don't feel like I was okay. I just was telling myself I was okay. You know, sometimes you don't think that things are affecting you the way that they are, but they are affecting you. Like I had already started trying to put a business into play, but every time I would get started, I just would stop. I just would stop. But once he put that fire in my ass, I was like, I had already made my labels. Like I had already like it was like 1, 2, 3, like that. And sometimes you need that to come through like that so you can understand, and then it unfolds like lay in layers, or it's like puzzle pieces that you have to put together. Because everything that he said, I still was feeling like, okay, well, he must have the wrong person. Like he can't be talking about me. I tried to understand like where he was coming from. And then as time went on throughout this separation, things started to play out. And I'm like, oh, this is what he's okay. This is what there's okay. So now I get it. And so I had to
Mhm.
like put those puzzle pieces together. And now I regained my power back. Not only that, but I also helped my children out in the process. Also started my business. Like it's a whole lot of things that I was procrastinating on that needed to get done, and I wasn't doing them. Not realizing that I was like in a state, like in a place. I even gained more weight than I've never been this big, right? So I even gained more weight being in that bubble that I was in, thinking that I was protecting myself, like picking and choosing my battles. Like, okay, well, I'm not gonna eat right today because I'm grieving and I'm gonna do what I want to do because I don't feel good today. I'm just gonna do what makes me happy, right? And so those things started to play out, and then they started to get out of control.
Mhm.
So once they got out of control, now I'm sitting here like in my separation and in my solitude, and I'm like, okay, I get what was going on now. Like I get it. Like okay, I really was on my way into another hole. You know what I'm saying? Like
Exactly.
on my way into something deeper. And I needed that fire to get me up out of it so I could actually start doing things that I know that I'm supposed to be doing. Like I cannot, just because I'm grieving or my job is hard. I'm not hard, but um physically stressful. I cannot just stop doing everything that I love to do in my life. And then, when my divine masculine comes around, then I am so, all into him and still
Mhm.
forgetting the things that I need to in order to help me keep going and help me prosper in this reality. So that was a good thing that actually came out of that, of a separation. It was like I had to get on my own shit, and I also had to like be one of those people that stands on their word. Like he would ask me questions about what I practice, and I couldn't explain it to him because I had never even thought about it. So it would just
Mm-hmm.
be like, it gave me the time to just really regain myself and get back into the swing of things, and really get back into my most powerful self.
And even prioritizing, like the biggest thing is the fact that, when we get into these connections, sometimes we don't prioritize those other things in our life
Hmm.
that are just as important as that connection. And so, because the connection is so fresh, it's so new, it's so beautiful, it makes you feel a certain way. We are emotional beings.
Hmm.
Then that whole electricity that we talked about, like, that can be addictive. So we have to make sure that
Hmm.
there is a balance in that, that we don't lose sight of those things that we are to prioritize on our mission here in this realm. Just like you said, your mission is to be a mother. Your mission also is to start a business that helps other people. Like, your mission is to do so many other things and to prioritize your health, your children's mental and physical health as well. Like, all of
Hmm.
these are dynamics that have to be balanced within the connection. And so, like with me, it was more so of me having that authoritative, like, conversation with him, but with everybody. Like, I have to
Hmm.
have these authoritative type of conversations with people and not be timid in my talk. Like, I got to be confident. I got to be, knowing how to really voice my opinion and be able to communicate it effectively based on the individual that I'm speaking to. Because I can speak to different types of people, but everybody got a different communication style. And me being timid and holding myself back and afraid to share how I feel, or being afraid to share my emotions, like, that just continued to build up until my emotions were drowning. The way that I felt was drowning, and I felt really bad that I'm like, hell, I can't take this no more. But by me prioritizing myself through the separation, when you go back into it, you've leveled up. Now, if your partner has done that same work, they will continue to, it's kind of like y'all will continue to feed and pour into each other. And that's
Hmm.
why it's so important. Like they'll say in relationships, like, your mate is supposed to pour into you and you into them. Like, once you get to a point where you learn, like what we had to do, of prioritizing yourself and those things that are around you that are important, and you've created that balance, the next step is, now I can pour into my partner, and then he can pour into me, and vice versa. Like, we're able to do this type of thing as we continue to elevate the relationship on up. So it may be some things that he doesn't recognize that he may need, that you'll understand, hey, I need to communicate that to him. And then same thing, he'll recognize some things and then be like, hey, let me do this, or let me do this the way that he shared. Now I know. But sometimes that first conversation of detaching is like a joke. It may be hardcore. You ain't gonna
Hmm.
get this initially because you've been off track for so long. It's like the
Hmm.
universe got to slap the shit out of you, shake you, and wake you up, get you back on track, get you back to prioritizing those things in your life that were important and deemed important before the universe allowed this person to come in. Just because the universe allowed this person to come in doesn't mean that we get off track and we waver from that. And
Hmm.
being just like within your situation, like you were grieving. I went through the similar situation when I was grieving my mother. I didn't even know that I was going through a process of grieving. And then even through that time, it feel like it was kind of like a veil that was over me.
Hmm.
And then once I came out of it, it was like, oh shit, I can see. Like, where have
Hmm.
I been?
Yeah. Yeah. I was
But
like, damn, I didn't even know I didn't know I was there. I
yep,
didn't.
you don't know you there until, like, you getting out of it and you looking back at it, and it's like, damn,
Hmm.
that's what was going on. Because, like, even certain things that happened in 2021 and 2020, I don't remember because my mama transition in 2020, and certain things that I was going through in 2021, like it's a fucking blur. Like he could say something about what was going on. I'm like, I don't even remember. Like I promise you, I don't recall because it was so much going on. But once that
Mhm.
veil came off and I came back into myself, because I think that's part of what ego is as well, of a protection mechanism too.
Yeah,
So I
protection.
feel like the ego was protecting me during that time. And then when it was like, okay, she's had enough coddling and healing to go on now, she can take this off and really step into the real world. And then when I start
Mhm.
stepping in, I'm just like, damn, I've been allowing this going on. Like, stop,
Yeah,
time out. No, we
time
ain't
out.
handling this. And when
Mhm.
I came back into it and I had my voice, like you said, your partner loves that. Your
They love.
partner loves you in the fullness, authentic part of who you are, being able to be all that you are created to be in its fullness, whatever that looks like.
Mhm.
So when you can speak your truth and say it with authority and stand behind and know that this is what you demand and you don't take nothing less than, like whether it's with you or not, like,
Mhm.
when I was able to come into that awareness of self and prioritize me, like it's easy for me to verbalize that to him. And
Yeah,
it's easier for him to understand it and comprehend it and adhere to it, and vice versa. Like I'm not just saying this just for me, but I'm saying this for you as well. Like if I'm saying that I prioritize me, I want you to prioritize you, and when we come together we prioritize each other, and
right.
that's that balance. But
Yeah.
detaching has to happen if you're not at that level. Now I say that some people may go into the connection with all of this already worked out before you get with that person, then this
Mhm.
wouldn't apply. But you really don't even know until you're in that connection, because
It's
within that
always been
person
there.
is always something that's going to come up for you to grow. Like
Mhm.
there's if you still here on this earth plane, you still growing. You ain't finished yet. You ain't finished healing. You ain't finished leveling up. You are not your higher self. You're here. So it's
Mhm.
gonna be something in your partner that's gonna recognize, because somebody on the outside looking in can always see what's going
Mhm.
on that you may not be able to see. And then your partner with their loving energy is going to be able to share, hey, this is what's going on, in a way that you can adhere to it consciously and then make those changes.
Yeah, and they are depending on you to do it for them too. Like they
Hmm.
not like just like I wouldn't want him to accept me as anything, like accept me just any way that I came. I would want him to want me to be the best version of myself. And the same thing goes for them. They are depending on you to not only to see them, not only can we see the greatest version, like you can see the potential and you can see the higher version of a person when you meet them. Not all the time, they're not gonna always give you that version of themselves, but it's like gonna be bits and pieces.
Hmm.
You gotta call forth the highest version of themselves because that's the version of them that's gonna treat you with the utmost respect. That's the version of them that's gonna give you the things that you need inside of the relationship in order to help the relationship flourish. And the same thing goes for you. When it comes to them, they are expecting for you to be the highest version of yourself. Like they are expecting for you not to always, have the answers or to be fully healed or to anything like that, but they are expecting for you to be in a place to where you can continue with the mission and continue to keep growing into higher versions because I believe that the point of these connections are not only to for us to be the greatest version of ourselves, but for us to reach a point where we are bringing this energy into this realm, not
Hmm.
only just for us but for people that are coming up behind us, that are coming up with us. Like we are energy beings and we are always doing things that are helping humanity out. But the most important part is for you to get to the version that you have come here to be. It's not,
Yeah.
it's like that's the most important part. All of the other things, all those other perks come with it, come with the
Mhm.
connection. But you being your greatest version, your partner is not going to have a problem with you voicing how you feel. Your partner is not going to have a problem with you, you know, being fully in your power, like not accepting their bullshit or not accepting things that you know you shouldn't be accepting of them. Um, like my part, he would come through telepathically. He'd be like, you still don't get it," and he would be laughing, and I would just be like, "What is it? Like, what is it that I don't get?" I hear
Mhm.
telepathy very well. We have a very clear connection when it comes to telepathy. It's some depending on where the moon is, or if it's a new moon, full moon, depending on the moon, where the moon, the placement of the moon, especially when it's in Cancer, because its moon sign is Cancer, we have a very clear connection when it comes to telepathy.
Mhm.
And he would like, I remember I had I said some things in a text message, but I felt like, you remember that when I said the things in the text message, and I felt like he really needed to hear those things,
Mhm.
because I feel like, not, you're not gonna keep judging me. You're gonna, like, you know what I'm saying? At that point, it felt like an attack. You know what I'm saying?
Mhm.
After I'm trying to get it together and trying to realize like what is going on with me, you're not gonna keep, looking at me, like, not even looking at me, because he thinks very highly of me, but not you're not gonna keep making me feel as though I'm being attacked by your
Mhm.
words. You're gonna handle me different. And
Mhm.
so I remember I said some things in the text message, and I was thinking to myself, like, yeah, and I called sis. I'm like, sis, this is what I said. You know what I'm saying? Because I'm thinking to myself, like, I have never done that. Like, I never have went that far, but something just kept saying, like, you need to get this off of you. You need to say what
Mhm.
you say and mean what you say. And
Mhm.
I remember he came to me in telepathy. He was like, "Good job." Like, I didn't expect you to do that. But that's, you did a good job. And I'm thinking to myself, like, this gotta be, like, this can't be real. And he was like, yeah, I'm gonna come back 10 times stronger now. Like, that's like, these are the conversations that we have with each other's higher selves, kind of like that. And so, like, your divine partner wants you to be in your power. Like, they find that to be, it's not about what you look like, about how you like, it's about really about you being the greatest version of yourself, because they know with that version of you, it calls forth the greatest version of them. It calls that energy forth, and it makes them, it not I'm not gonna say makes them, but it does kind of make them feel like it's like the light up under their ass. Like, yeah, I gotta get on my shit, because she knowing who she is now. Like,
Exactly.
I can't play that role that I used to play. Like, in my mind, I erased the whole role of a nigga. Like, okay, so okay, I don't like that version. Boom, let's out that version of you. In order for me to
Mhm.
out a version of him, I have to be in my power. I have to be in my power in order to do that. And it's
And
not
that's
like
what.
you erasing a
And
like a persona of that person
mhm.
that triggers you.
And to me, it's like what we are calling like the ultimate power couple, you know? So,
Mhm,
and power, not in the sense of all things, power couple from the divine energy power, like the power that we have of the
mhm,
connection, like the power that we have over the physical mundane world when it comes down to success in those areas that we look for success in our relationship, the way that we communicate and the way that we love each other, like even the love aura that we exude when we're together, like people feel that, like that's power.
mhm,
Even the family dynamic that we have with our family members and the way that we can engage and we embrace others because of the love that we have with our significant other, that's powerful too. So on all of those things that are created from the love bond that we've created now that we can communicate freely with each other. And so it's more so of them doing that so we can be able to communicate free. Like when you sent that message, it's like, okay, now I can communicate. Like, this how I
Mhm.
truly feel. So why
I
am I
can't be
holding
scared no
back?
more.
Yeah, I can't
Mhm.
be timid or afraid or feel like I can't share this. Like whether you like it or not, I'm gonna share it. And that's kind of like what we do with my connection. Like we always say, like, we just talking. You know what I'm saying? Like,
Mhm.
whether it's good or bad, or he agree, I disagree, whatever. We always say, we just talking. And we'll say that's our thing to say, like, if we feel like somebody getting their feelings. Like, if I
Yeah.
feel like he feeling some type of way about how sensitive I can be about something, and he may huff and puff, and I'd be like, come on now, we just talking. Like, and that means continue the conversation, like continue sharing
Mhm.
what your huffing and puffing means, like continue to share how you feel about me sharing that I'm so sensitive about something that you did that you feel like nothing. Like,
Right.
we continue to share because we just talking, and that's all it is we are just talking. Like, nobody gonna get mad, nobody gonna get hurt, nobody gonna cry, nobody gonna storm out the house, nobody gonna leave the relationship. We just talking, and we got to make our communication with each other like that. Like, I feel
Yeah.
like more connection should be we just talking, because how else can you learn who you with if you don't just talk? Like, that's you building that
Yeah.
bond even stronger by understanding the thought process of your significant other. Like, once I know how my partner thinks, how he reacts, how he moves, like all dynamics, the way he does business, the way that he lives with his family, the way he deals with his friends, the things he likes, he dislikes, the food, the way he likes it prepared. All of this comes from conversation. We just
Mhm.
talking. Things you may be sensitive about that you share. We had a situation that went down yesterday that I didn't know he felt the type of way about it until he shared it. And then now it made me aware of how he feels in these type of situations. So now I'm like, okay, I'm glad he let that out and he's talking, because now that let me know if he hadn't shared that, I wouldn't have never known that he felt like that. So now
Mhm.
I'm going to make it my responsibility to do this when we're out. Like, because I know that's how he like to move. But
Mhm.
that makes that power couple. Like, that's what makes it powerful. Like,
Yeah.
that is the power couple in my eyes, not just with the success of the finance, because people say power couple, and it'll be people
Mhm.
just because they
They
may
ought to
be
make money. Mhm.
money or they're moguls. That's only one dynamic of it. But when you connect and higher self to higher self, like I shared with y'all before another video, like, that's all things. Like, that's success in all things. That's success
Mhm.
not just in the financial department, but in the sexual department, in the communication department, the way that we make money, the way we love each other, the way we treat our family, the way we are with our career, the way we're able to build together and separately. Like, it's so many parts of power, and even the way that we can come together and connect to the divine. Like, all of that is part of the power couple. So that
Mhm.
power couple, like, understands, like you was even saying, like, I understand how he feeling without him even sharing how he feel, you know.
Mhm.
And like I was telling him, like, we had a conversation about this yesterday and then again tonight. Like, I'm the type of person, I'm not only gonna show you how I feel about you, but I'm gonna verbalize how I feel towards you.
Yeah.
And he's the type of person, he said, I don't need the verbal, because
He needs
I
to
just
show.
can tell. He said, you just show him, you let me know. I don't even have to hear you say it, because I already know based on the way that you look at me, the way that I feel, the way that you feel when you with me. Like, he said, that's enough for me. And I said, I understand. And now I know that, you understand the way I communicate my love, and you understand the way I understand the way you communicate your love. That makes it even powerful as well. Now we kind of are in tune more with the way that we move, even within the dynamic of the relationship.
Mhm.
So that builds power even more so, knowing the communication, like we talked about before, even knowing the communication and what your partner needs, what it does, what
The
he
love
or she don't
languages.
need.
Yeah.
Yeah, like understanding that. But you can't get to that point if you're not even communicating. Like if you are
Or not
challenged
detaching either.
with, yeah, if
Mhm.
you, like I was challenged with just communicating. So me pulling away was able to come back stronger and share now, because we come with this kind of shell protection of like, hey, if I share how I feel, then they may not feel the same way, or
Mhm.
they may be trying to play me, or we come with all these preconceived notions about past relationships and what could possibly happen, because everybody's afraid to be vulnerable of moving
Yeah.
forward to what this could actually be, and then allowing it to be that, and that goes for men and for women. So with both of us, even treading lightly on our feelings and not sharing the feelings that we both have, then that kind of like it brings the relationship to a disadvantage,
Mhm.
because nobody's
Becomes
coming showing
harder.
up fully. Yeah, we're not
Yeah.
showing up fully. We're not being authentic with our feelings, because shit can happen. You
Mhm.
know, that's why I told him before when we had the issue with "I love you," motherfucker. Anybody can hurt you.
Yeah.
This is part of life. So getting that strength once you detach to even move forward like that, I feel like is a huge deal too, because we need that in order to build to be a power couple.
You do. You do. And understanding, like you said, understanding what your partner needs, understanding, and you need having an understanding of what you need. Like
Mm-hmm.
your partner cannot give you what you need if you do not know how to communicate what you need to your partner. And that
Exactly.
was very big. I could not. I always like. I used to be scared to like ask him for things, but he could always depend on me, and I never
Mm-hmm.
understood it. And I think he never understood it either. I think he felt like he made, like he felt like maybe he felt like I couldn't. Like I felt like he couldn't. He wasn't capable of having me be able to depend on him for the things that I need. Like my daddy is here. Like if I need some, I go to my daddy. You know what I'm saying? That's how I used to do my thing. But it came a point where I had to really stop and think about like, okay, I have a man now. You not operating in single energy no more. So you have to be like, okay, you need to give him your like tell him what you need. And
Mm-hmm.
so I would be so scared, and then all of a sudden someone just say, tell him or you gonna miss your blessing. And
Exactly.
I would get on my phone and I text and I be like, I need this. And he'd be like, okay. And then he'll just send the money over. And I'd be like, because I'm not gonna say I never had that before, but I never really had it like that. You know what I'm saying? Like, and I started thinking to myself, well, maybe I did think that he wasn't capable of doing it. Or maybe like it's always brought back to me and how I
Mm-hmm.
feel and the thought forms that I put out there. That's why I love detachment now, because detachment helps me to revise the way I'm thinking also.
Mm-hmm.
It
Mm-hmm.
helps me to like, because how you think of your partner, my partner used to always say, he was like, I need you to think about me how you think about me right now. I need you to keep that. I want you to think about me how you think about me right now. And see, I didn't understand thought process then. I didn't understand why he was really saying that. But I was just thinking that he was talking about the way I loved him. You know what I'm saying? But he was really saying like sometimes your thought processes are here, and then sometimes your thought processes are down here because you let your insecurities get the best of you. So I would like, so now I started doing the revision. So I will revise. I use detachment to revise the way I'm thinking. I don't like rush the process, and I basically go through the motions of what I'm feeling, and then once I come out of that, that's when I start the revision process, and I start to really start to see my partner for who he really is, not for the what I'm, you know, the the insecurities made me think of him,
Mm-hmm.
or like because I always feel like in my heart like he is, it's this is not the person. This is he's showing me something else, but he's really this person over here. Like, I'm knowing
Mhm.
that he's playing this role right here, but he's really this person over here. And it took a lot of times of being detached from him, learning how to detach from him, for me to really see that he really is this person that I really think that he is. He's not the
Mhm.
person that my ego and my
Yeah, exactly.
insecurities try to make him out to be. And so I had to be like, even when like we have a disagreement, I have to always remind myself like he loves me. Like he's saying
Mhm.
this because he loves me. It's not
Mhm.
because he's my enemy. You know what I'm saying? It's really
Mhm.
because he loves me. Otherwise, he wouldn't even waste his fucking time
Mhm.
saying this stuff
Exactly.
to me. So I had to like real deal use detachment to revise how I'm thinking about him and the energy that I'm putting out, because however you think about your divine partner is how they're going to show up, because they are playing a role for you. So they're gonna show up how your partner thinks about you. And that's why I had to realize too that he really thinks high of me. He really does won't think about me at my greatest version, because he I'm not, I don't shift like who I am, kind of like that. Like I'm I'm like always finding my power. Like I feel like he really has the um he always knows that I'm gonna find it. Like I'm gonna get it. And then you know what I'm saying? Then the revision will start, and then things will start to come back around full circle. Like he really believes in my power. He really believes in who I am. I really do believe that, because every time I was like, and then it's also been sometimes where I feel like I'm like, these are his thoughts,
Mhm.
because I didn't even feel this way. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like his insecurities will get the best of him. And I'll be thinking, like, I don't even feel like that. Like, I don't even think this. Like, where did
Mhm.
this come from all of a sudden? And so even I'll receive his thought process and have to reevaluate and revise it. Like literally take his thought process of me and revise it. Like, no, you trust me. You know what I'm saying? Like this is not what you really think. Like you don't really think like this about me. Like you can't. You know what I'm saying? It's like you sometimes you have to I even have to revise his thought processes when he's feeling insecure, which makes me a very powerful being when you think
Mhm.
about it, because it makes us all as divine feminines a powerful being in our power. We are able to literally revise anything on the spot. We are literally able to um use our mind to really bring things back into balance. Like your partner is still has a human, still is human. When at the end of the day, even though they are divine being, they're still human. They still have humanly things that happen to them, like insecurities, or just anything that will happen. We are able to take those thoughts that they have and revise them,
Mhm.
because they are they are needing that in that moment, like knowing that what they need in that moment to help. I wish I would have known this through so many arguments. Like I wish I would have came into, but this is the reason why detachment is necessary, because every time you detach, you find more and more and more about yourself that you are
Yep.
capable of and that you can do. And then, like really arguments shouldn't really even happen. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like
We just talking.
we just talking.
We just
It
talking.
really shouldn't even happen. Like certain things that we go through, you should never be in your feelings as a divine feminine, even though you should
Ever.
feel, but don't be in your feelings, because literally you can revise anything on the spot. Once you know your power, you can
Mhm.
literally replay all this shit. You can reverse, like rephrase and reverse all of this shit and make it out. You know what I'm saying? Put it back into alignment, put it back into a harmonious connection. Like you don't like it's about you when it all
Mhm.
boils down. Like this is about you coming into your power. and you doing that revision, even if he comes home, he has a hard day at work, like
Mhm.
he's had a hard day at work, he's having a problem with somebody in the office, right? Let's just say he has a 9 to 5 or he has employees. You can literally revise it, the
Mhm.
whole situation,
Yep.
and make his experience with making the money for the household harmonious. Like we are
Mhm.
so powerful. We are so powerful, and they can do the same thing for you. You know what
Yep.
I'm saying? We are so powerful as women. I wish I knew these things with a lot of situations.
I want to share like, and y'all probably think this crazy, but I want to share like Gold Digger Chronicles 101, like from a gold digger. Like I'm not a gold digger, but I want to
Right.
share with y'all like how gold diggers get what they get. Like one of the main things that a lot of female energies who may have taken on like responsibility or taken on masculine energy is the fact that they don't like to be in their feminine energy and feel vulnerable and ask for what they want. Like the
Mhm.
main reason why you may not be getting what you need from your connection, your partner, is because you lack to ask for help or the need. Like men want, as a woman, men like to feel needed. Like whatever the masculine
Yes.
energy is, the masculine energy wants to do. The masculine energy wants to feel needed and it wants to be appreciated. Like it wants to feel like they are there for a particular goal that they can accomplish for you, like they want to do whatever you need to be get done. And so that's how a lot of gold diggers, they don't have a problem with asking for what they want, and they verbalize it. Hey, I want this, this, and this. Oh, you ain't
Mhm.
gonna get this another nigga that can. You know, they
Yeah.
kind of like feel like you gonna get it. You gonna do this for me. I need you to do this for me. And especially if it ain't tricking, if you got it, then he gonna do it. You know what I'm saying? So in a whole connection in which you were saying like, hey, like you were saying before, like you had a problem with telling him because you always tell your daddy, just like with your mate. Like I got into the whole thing where now it's easy for me to share and tell him, hey, babe, I need you to do this. I need, like, now, because I used to call my daddy, but after now my dad had a few strokes, I can't call my daddy no more. So now I call him like, hey, like the other day I got locked out of my car. Like my tire went flat. Hey, my tire flat. Like, hey, if it's anything that need to be done, I'm calling him, and he'd be like, okay, well, let me know. Like the other day, I said, I'm gonna call roadside sis. He said, well, when they come, he said, call me, let me know what happens. Call me, because he really couldn't leave work, but he said if he had to, he was. They want to feel needed. They want to be there. Like if you one of those feminine energies that don't do that, then you have to get out of that space because now you're taking away his whole part of being a masculine energy and being a man for you.
Actually,
So now
yeah.
you want to be man and woman. Like you now why is he there? He gonna feel like, I'm not needed. Like I want to be somewhere where I'm needed and
Yeah.
appreciated at the same time. Then another thing, like you were saying before, like bringing those manifestations in about speaking what you want the partner to be. Like I went into that. I just had this conversation last week because I used to play with him and I'd be like, oh, you so mean. So if I don't get my way, you mean. Like that's my whole little word, like you mean. And I was like, okay. I said, I am not gonna say that anymore. I said, you are the best partner ever. Like you are so
Revision.
loving, you are so understanding, you give me everything that I want whenever I want. He said, okay, you trying to be fun. I was like, no. I said, I'm speaking those things into existence that I want to happen within this relationship. And so it if you are speaking that, that is what you're going to receive. But if
Exactly.
you constantly talking bad, or and this is in any relationship, if you talking bad and negative about the connection or the partner that you're with, then you're going to constantly get more of that. So the same rules apply. The universal laws don't switch just because you're in a partnership. They're the
Mm.
same rules that apply in your life. Speak those things, daily affirmations, mantras, whatever you want to call it. Like those same things apply within a connection. So if there's something within the connection that you don't agree with or you don't like, then speak it otherwise. If you don't feel it, Because if you
Exactly.
speak it and you feel it, then it comes into play. Then
Yeah.
things start to move on that same
Be
dynamic.
neutral.
So yeah, you have to. So I just wanted to give y'all that, gold diggers playbook is l- they have to feel needed. Like they have
Yeah.
to feel needed, or then what's the point? For them, it's kind of like, what's the point? Because men are natural, masculine energies are natural doers. Like they want to do for you. Like, so if you
Yeah.
don't give me nothing to do, it's kind of like, okay, now, what?
The more I allow him in and actually allow him to do things for me. I don't give a fuck if it's put my car battery in. I'm calling
Exactly.
like, listen, I need my car battery put in. Can you come put my battery in? He like, okay. Like I'm talking about it will come. Quick facts in a hurry. My thing is I robbed myself so many years of that, not understanding that that's his nature. Like that's what
Mm-hmm.
that's what he wanted to was to feel needed. And
Mm-hmm.
so, like, once I allowed him more into my space, and I basically, um, the more I allowed him to do for me, the more he came into my space. I'm gonna say it like that. The closer he came, the more I would allow him to do, the more I would allow myself to depend on him and to like, because at the time, like I felt like the universe was laughing at me because I was like, I'm like, dang, I haven't been without money in a while. Like, why is it now that he comes forward that now I need so much more? And it
Mm-hmm.
could have clearly been because of his thought processes. You get what
Exactly.
I'm saying? He needed me to be
Want
in
to
a
feel
position
needed.
to
Mm-hmm.
need him. And I
Exactly.
was just like,
And
say
you
I
got to get in a
was like,
position to ask.
yeah. Yeah, and he was like, "No, no, I'm on my way now. I'll be there in a minute." Like I was calling him for stuff for the kids. Like them ain't even his kids. You get what I'm saying? So, but
Hmm.
he wanted. It's not even about them not being his kids, but he wanted to feel like who wants to be in a relationship where you don't need them?
Exactly.
Like you don't
Like,
need
what
them
am I
for
here
nothing.
for? That's just like
Yeah,
with us sharing, the whole spiritual walk and what we're doing and our whole thought process, and they don't want to hear or they don't care, or you being a nurturing kind of person, they neglecting it. It's kind of like, okay, well, what the fuck am I here for then? Like,
yeah.
if you don't recognize and appreciate all that I am and trying to share with you, then I feel like then you don't appreciate me and what I'm bringing to the table. Then it's kind of like that gives wiggle room for them to be like, okay, maybe this is not where I'm supposed to be. I maybe need to be with somebody
Mhm,
who actually appreciate and need me for who I am.
mhm,
So that's the same thing with them. If I'm here to be what you need, your man, part of that role is fulfilling, what you need, even when we were talking, like I was talking to him and he said, it hurt him one time when I said I didn't need him. And he
mhm.
was like, you do. He said it may not be financially, but you called me to change your tire. You called me to do this. Like, you need me to do certain things. So he
Yeah.
said, you don't say that you don't need me because you do. And I thought about it. So I had to apologize. So I'm like, yeah, I was wrong because I said I didn't mean it in that instant. I said I was meaning financially. I didn't need you, but I said,
Mhm,
yes, I do need you. Like, I'm not saying that like that. And when he shared that, I'm like, damn, like it made him feel some type of way because he
yeah,
said it made me feel some type of way.
mhm,
So it was like men have to be needed no matter how small we think it is. Like that's something that's meaningful for them. Even if I tell him I don't feel good, babe, can you go to the store and pick me up some fruit, a case of water, and some elderberry syrup and bring it over here? You know what I'm saying? Something just as simple as that, like that's making them feel needed. Oh, babe, can't don't forget, I need you to go do this and like giving them duties and things to do. Women like free game, like for real. Men like to do that because now they feel like they're integrated and a part of your life, and they're helping you in some type of way.
mhm. They don't feel helpless in the situation.
Hmm.
And another thing is, you'll see a lot of women that tell men like you when you mean, men like you when you like this, and it's not true. It's really not
No,
true.
I don't know
It's
who's
really
saying that.
like like it might be some men out here. I've come across some men that um want you to be angry at them all the time, but that's some that is like that is something that is a traumatic that is a part of their trauma.
Yes,
Okay,
that is so
he's
not
like,
right.
men want you to be sweet, like
Mhm.
my partner. I can get more from him being sweet me than being mean me. Like mean
Yeah,
me,
don't
he'll
nobody
like
want no
think it's
mean
funny.
me.
He's like, oh, that's cute. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
You're trying to be mean, but he knows that's not in my real. That's like not my real nature is to be mean to him. You know what I'm saying? He
Mhm.
knows like if I'm openly being mean to him, he's like, nah, just your attitude, your energy ain't right. Like
Mhm.
like your energy ain't right like that. And so that's another thing that I learned. Like, don't listen to people that you resonate with. If you're looking at information and you really don't resonate with the information, you might resonate with one or two things, but you really not resonate. And then you are in a divine partnership. I have made this mistake. Don't listen to it. Really, really go within and ask yourself how you would handle. Ask your higher self, how would you handle this situation? How would you
Exactly.
handle how do we need to handle this? Like, do we
Mhm.
need to do this? Like I wasted a lot of time trying to be mean or just trying to be just, something that I'm not, basically.
Mhm.
And I didn't spend a lot of time on it, but if I even spent a little bit on it, that was way too much time to be spending on something that was bringing me out of myself. You know what I'm
Mhm.
saying? Like, I'm not here. I'm here I want for men to get back into their natural and authentic natures. I want them to be in a divine partnership to where they can actually come out of those, you know, self-harming, wanting to harm females, all of those different things that we see that happens in the news all the time. Like, there has been um I'm not even gonna say I'm gonna say there's a decrease happening with men hurting women or children. You get what I'm saying? Or even hurting themselves, vice versa,
Mhm.
wherever they fall on the spectrum. My thing is the decrease is happening because a lot of divine partnerships are coming into play, and we are now being introduced to the versions of ourselves that are helping this decrease to happen.
Mhm.
Okay, we are allowing this healing to come in with non-judgment. Like, these partners do not judge you. Your
Mhm.
mind, your ego makes you think that they are judging you in a certain way, but these partners do not judge you. They are literally playing a role for you to become the greatest version. And the more that we come into that, the more that the feminine energy comes into her power, the more that the masculine energy comes into their power, you're gonna see the decrease in the way men like this is. I mean, I have seen some things on the internet about what men feel about women. It's the same thing about what men feel about, I mean, what women feel about men. And I'm just like, y'all probably supposed to be in a divine partnership. I don't know. You know what I'm saying? Like, I don't know, but
Exactly.
it's like it's something going it's something with this energy, and the reason why the divine partnership aspect is on the uprise. Like, they're going to be coming out of the woodworks because
Mhm.
people are going to now start listening to themselves and not listening to sources outside themselves that try to tell them how to handle certain things. You know what I'm saying? When
Mhm.
it comes to a relationship, like, you're gonna
Mhm.
start to see people resonate more with people who are actually on their frequency. Like, we can all be on a frequency, right? We can all be riding
Yep.
this frequency wave, but that does not mean that the information that is given on their frequency really is a match for us. It just
Mhm.
means that we are all
All
riding this
on the
same
way. Mhm.
frequency. We own this same radio station. But what I'm hearing and what you hearing is not the same
Two
thing.
different things. Mhm.
You know what I'm saying? So it's you're gonna see this uprise with with these divine partnerships, and you're gonna see more people coming out and talking about it. And I'm just excited about that. And I'm excited to get like real information, real, like the real raw, like inside edition of what these partnerships really do and what they really can do for us in the coming years. Like this
Yes.
this is growth. Like this is not just growth, but this is like the reinvention of self in the interacting like with yourself. Like literally,
Mm-hmm.
like I asked my higher self, like, is this information for us? No. Okay, let's go on to the next. And like the more I found out, like I used to think that people would say that you have to take your partner off a pedestal. You have to take them down off the pedestal, and you have to do these things, and it's all these things. And I sat outside with myself, and I was like, okay, higher self, what how should we handle, should I keep giving love out to my partner even though I haven't talked to them? Should I still send that love? And I see two geese fly in the sky past me. And that's like what your higher, like this is what they want you. They want you to get so connected with nature that you cannot
Mm-hmm.
miss these signs. Like these signs happen so much in nature that tells you what, like this is you being literally being in union with yourself.
Mm-hmm.
You now are not allowing other people outside of you to give you the wrong information. You know what I'm saying? As long as I know that I'm led to certain information, I sit there and I listen to it. But sometimes, like the other day, I gave somebody the benefit of the doubt, and I was just like, well, well, I should have just listened to myself. You know what I'm saying?
Exactly. I just should have listened to myself. I would
Yeah,
have
'cause
more information and yeah.
the title was cap. Like the title was it was like clickbait. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
But yeah, like we're gonna start, you know, seeing the decrease in the the feminine and the masculine, you know, being at odds with each other, and you're gonna
Mm-hmm.
see the increase of more unions coming into play and more people literally getting down to the root of what these connections, because I really do believe that why would they give me this connection in every lifetime if I'm not supposed to make union?
Mm-hmm.
You know what I'm saying? Like, if I've been his mother, I probably have been his sister. I probably have been everything to him. We probably was two rocks sitting on a mountain before. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
Didn't even know that we
Exactly.
communicating telepathically. Okay. Like, if I, why would I go through all of this to do all of this work on myself just so that I can leave this partner behind and to get another one that already has the things that I want? Like that to me is like, it's like clickbait. It's like the title sounds good. It sounds
Mm-hmm.
good when it rolls off the list, but when you really live in it, them people ain't really happy.
Exactly.
You know, like they're really not happy because they, that's another form of settling. And that's like when the industry give you the money before you actually make the record. You know what I'm saying? You
Yeah.
you know, it's like clickbait. Like I don't
Mm-hmm.
know. But I just don't feel, I really feel like, and I've seen so many people say different things that every divine partnership is not supposed to come into union. Maybe y'all just supposed to be this, to be that. And I'll be damned if we do all this work on each other just to leave each other behind. Like that man told me one time, he was like, you trying to leave me behind.
Like it's leveling you up. Like no, what I'm
Yeah,
doing is leveling you up because it's making you look at you and do better. And I
yeah,
feel like those who, I feel like when you're doing work on yourself and your focus is on self and for self to be better, then it's inevitable for you to bring in, especially when you are vibrating on that frequency of love and you're
Yeah.
open to that without having yourself closed off due to past letdowns, then you are open channel to receive. So now at this
Mhm.
point, you're not focused on it. That's not your main focus, but it's just like anything you want to manifest into your life, you let it be known. You have that energy of it and you vibrate on that frequency. Nothing can, distract you. Only thing you can do is allow that to come in.
Yeah.
So it will be inevitable for you to bring in your divine connection because that's the frequency that you're vibrating on, and that's the energy you're looking to manifest, and you've already put it out there. So those who aren't, if that's what you're seeking, then it's coming. Just make sure you continue to do the work that you have, because it may be something that you need to do. So I always ask like your higher self, like, what is it that you have me to do? What is it in a direction that you have me to complete during this time? Put me on mission, put me on the plan, that bring it to my awareness what it is that would you have me to do. So don't put the focus on the connection, just put the focus on making sure that you're in alignment with higher self, you're in alignment with source, and you're making that. While you're doing that and you're making that happen, then that's where your focus is. That's when the universe will allow that connection to come in, because you're so in alignment with self that self has to come in to match self. And that's all it is. And so, for those of you all who are looking, I feel like that's like, don't look. Like, for one,
Yeah.
stay on mission with that. And then, like you said, like we're seeing so many divine partnerships. Just like the other day, I had the couples connection event, and at the couples connection event, one of the ladies was telling me that she with this 72-year-old, she in her 70s, they in love, she glowing, she smiling, she's so happy.
Mhm.
We was talking about how to communicate, how to give your partner a hand massage, how to gauge levels of pleasure, like just being able to communicate with your partner. Like, it was so beautiful just for a partnership to be there, for her to talk about her partnership at the age of 72, and all these different connections that's popping up.
Mhm.
That's because, and we're seeing it because we're already in that vibrational energy of love. So we get to
Yeah.
see it.
Yeah.
If you're not in that vibration of love, then you may not see it. You'll probably see a lot of breakups. You'll probably see a lot of batteries
I
or
just been seeing
trauma.
engagements. I was
I've been seeing engagements and weddings. I've been seeing
like, and
engagements
wedding.
and weddings and weddings and weddings and engagements. Is all I've been seeing. Like, oh, but I don't care what I pull up. Like, that's what's gonna
Okay.
pop up. It's
Yeah.
like everywhere. But I feel like that's the frequency. You know what I'm saying? Like what you were saying earlier, like we're on that frequency wavelength. But if you haven't brought that in to see that, just look back at yourself and think about what are the thought processes that I'm thinking about, like throughout the day. What am I saying? What am I speaking? Who am I hanging around? What am I looking at? What am I listening to? Because all of that creates, just like if you'll be talking about some red shoes and then you look on the phone, it's red shoes on your phone,
Yeah.
or you start to see somebody with red shoes, or you start to see some, like, damn, I went to the store, red shoes everywhere. I went, because you've allowed that energy in. So if you're talking about love and wedding and marriage, then you're allowing that energy in, and that's what you'll manifest.
Mhm.
So just know it happens just like that. Like, you'll get, let's say somebody just got a new Kia Sorento, then you start to see Kia Sorentos
Yep.
everywhere. It's the same thing, just like that. So if you're not saying and you're not speaking and you're not thinking about it, and think about the opposite, then you need to switch your
Mhm.
paradigm to be able to bring that into your awareness and into your space. Is, I mean, magic is magic.
Yeah.
It goes in all ways. It's not one cookie cut. It's, I would say, it's not multiple ways to bring things in. It's one easy cookie cutter way. And all you got to do is think it and feel it and the energy, and then manifest it. And as for anything, you think
Affirm
it, you feel it, you verbalize it, it brings it in. You think it, you feel it, you verbalize it, you bring it in. You know, and there's various ways that you may want to script it, you may want to write it on or make a vision board, but it's the same thing. You just creating a feeling, you saying the words so you can think it and you can bring it into your awareness. So that's the same thing with divine partnership.
Yeah. Once you make up in your mind that you 10 toes in and you're not
Yep.
wavering back and forth, thinking about old things that happened, and you
Mm-hmm.
just really make up in your mind that you are 10 toes in. This is the connection that you want. This is the connection that has given you, that has helped you do the most growth on yourself, help you come into the most realizations about yourself. This is the connection this is the spiritual partnership that you want.
Yep.
Once you make that decision, don't waver from it. No matter what the 3D shows you, you don't waver from that part, that in which that decision that you have made. Because when you start to waver from it, the you don't you telling you giving the universe mixed signals. So they're not
Mm-hmm.
knowing, it's not like realizing, your subconscious mind is not realizing like what you really want. Okay, you don't you either you want this or you don't want this. You talk bad about them in your head, but then you love them in person. It's
Exactly.
it's not helping you in any way at all. You need to be always saying loving and sweet things to your partner, energetically, telepathically,
Mm-hmm.
emotionally. Don't allow your emotions to get the best of you because you're seeing something in the 3D realm.
Mm-hmm.
Release it, erase it if you have to, like it
Yep.
never happened, and then you start with a clean slate and you keep moving, you keep saying and keep affirming what it is you want to see in your reality, because you, just like you are manifesting them, they are manifesting you. You're
Yep.
not doing anything wrong by manifesting the connection that you want to have. Know what you
Mm-hmm.
want, don't waver, know what you want, and put it out there and keep putting it out there. When you think about it, you should be thinking loving things. Like, we are already married. We are
Mm-hmm.
already living a happy life. We already have a $1 billion business. Like, you should be
Mm-hmm.
thinking about all the things that you want to happen. If you want to be a stay-at-home wife, you should be thinking
Mm-hmm.
about those things. Like, he is such a great husband. He is such a great provider. He always makes sure that we're taken care of. He takes care of everything in the house. He always has a solution to all of my problems. Like, you should
Exactly.
be saying these things out into the universe, so that,
Mm-hmm.
or thinking them. You don't really even have to say them out loud, but it's like saying it out loud to me is like putting that stank on it. You know what I'm saying?
Yep,
But
that's why I say I have to
yeah,
say
yeah, it's like
it.
it puts that on it,
Mhm.
and you want to be thinking about loving things, sending him loving vibes. He might have an issue where he may think that he can't be a provider. Like, he might have a insecurity about himself that makes him feel like, I don't know if I'm going to be able to provide for her. I don't know. That's when you come into place and you put in you like, you are such a great provider.
Mhm.
You do a wonderful job at providing and taking care of the household. Like, you do a wonderful job and you don't have to do hard work to do it. Like, make it easy for them. Like, you know what I'm
Yep.
saying? Like, you want to put those things out there so that you can build the life that you want to live. You know what I'm
Mhm.
saying? And then, what your partner tells you in confidence, or what y'all talk about, the things that he might be insecure about, or the things that he wants to do. You tell him that you are great at doing that job. There is nobody out here that does that job better than you. Like, you
Exactly.
make the most money being yourself. Like, if
Mhm.
he wants to be an entrepreneur, nobody has this idea like you got this idea. You just giving him the sweetness. Like, this is like the sweetness of Oshun right here. You know what I'm saying? Like she uses that, we use that energy to get to bring things into fruition, like fertility. Like she's the goddess of fertility. We are birthing something. You are birthing a brand new baby. Like if you had a dream about you being and you have a baby, I always have a little baby with me. That means that we always are creating something new into this reality. Okay. It's always a baby somewhere. Keep keep persisting, keep affirming, keep doing exactly what, like, do the opposite of the negative, because your
Mhm.
subconscious mind is going to always feed you that negative energy unless you tell it to give you something different. You have to
Yep.
keep affirming in order for it to give you something different. So you
Yep.
keep affirming, especially if you know you don't have a bad partner. Like if you really know this is a real divine connection, if you watching this channel, you this is divine connection. And this is not somebody who's abusing you. This is not somebody like, these are real connections. Okay,
Mhm.
bring into fruition what you want to see in this reality, and don't be afraid to do it. Do it unapologetically, because you, like, y'all both are manifesting the same thing. That's why you are getting to your greatest version, is because he's manifesting you into your greatest version. It's like you're not doing anything wrong, so don't feel like you're doing anything wrong or you're doing anything against somebody's will. You're not. You've been given this power, now use it correctly. you know
Yep, and you just calling in like the highest version of himself, and you calling in the highest version of yourself,
Yeah,
which is ultimately calling in the highest version of the relationship and the
yes,
partnership.
the reality.
So that's again the power couple. So if you're calling in power, then it has to manifest itself. If you're calling in the beauty, the love, the joy, the happiness, the fulfillment that you want, then
Mhm.
it can only make itself manifest within your reality.
Yeah,
So that's the only thing it is. Like whatever words you want to put behind it, whatever affirmation you want to put behind it, it's gonna show itself up
yeah,
because repetition just builds in the mind, it builds in the being, and you're creating this whole form. And this form is gonna take place in a physical reality. So it takes form here, it takes form in feeling, and it takes form physically. And so you'll be like, damn, he doing this or she doing this, or I did that. You may be like, damn, I did that. Like, I really
yeah,
did. Like, wow. Like, oh my God. Like, and then you'll go back, like, damn, I really been saying this. I really been calling this in. Like, damn, I got that job. Like, damn, I really been calling this in because that's all I've been thinking about and I've been working towards.
yeah,
So you'll see it start to happen. You just have to embody it. It's kind of like people say, dress for the job that you want, not the one that you have. Like
mm,
that's the same thing. That's all it is. Like you're dressing for the job you want, not the one that you have. And
yeah.
it'll come in every time.
It will. I mean, you're gonna see it energetically first. Like you're gonna
Hmm.
start to see the signs and the symbols that things like when you change your mindset and you really put it on something that you really want to bring. Some, like, I know there are women that want to be stay-at-home moms. They want to work from home. They want to be at home because we know we as women we love being at home. You know what I'm saying? Like we love to keep our house. Like we those are things that you want to see. You have to start doing those things, and you're gonna start to see the signs and the symbols that are gonna come in, synchronicities that are going to come in, that's going to show you that what you are doing is working. Like you don't
Yep.
have to look outside yourself for anything. It's going to be a feeling that comes in. It's going to, like, when you say these affirmations, when you say these things into existence, it feels like these are the things that's supposed to have been rolling off of your tongue from the very beginning, that you just didn't, that like you just wasn't aware of them. So just allow yourself, like, don't shortchange yourself. Like, you are here to be the greatest version. What is it that you want? What do you want to see happen within your connection? What do you want to see happen within yourself? Like what changes do you want to bring about yourself? Self concept. Like start saying those affirmations that bring you into who you are. If you have a problem with trusting yourself, that should be your first affirmation. when you wake up in the morning, that I trust myself wholly and fully. I trust myself to make decisions, that I'm making the right decisions for my highest and greatest good. Like these should be the first affirmations that you're saying in the morning, like when you wake up. Like don't sleep on yourself trying to build your relationship, but find the balance in doing both. Like I do self concept all the way around the board. Like I erase shit, bring shit back, erase
Mm-hmm.
it out. I was like, oh, that don't exist here no more. And move stuff out the way. You know, find what it is that you really want to bring into, and the person that you really want to be, what you really want to have in this life. And everything, if we work on self-concept first, then everything after that becomes so easy when it comes to your partner, because the more you pay attention to yourself, a lot of these things just happen naturally with the partner because you paying attention to yourself. Like I say all the time, like my partner loves to pay attention to me. My partner loves to make me the center of his attention. You know why? Because I make me the center of my attention. So
Mm-hmm.
it all works together. Like you cannot do this. You can't think your partner into being a better person if you are not being a better person to yourself.
Exactly.
So it all works together. So yeah,
That's all I have to
me
share
too.
tonight. Why detaching is necessary, and then we kind of ventured off into some other things that's going to help you within the relationship, and within your partnership and your divine connection. But I like to definitely leave you with this because we gave you plenty of good nuggets tonight that you should implement in order either to bring that partner in, detach if you need to detach, and come back even stronger.
Yeah.
But just make sure that you make yourself the priority, because the mission, you have to stay on mission and goal. And the partnership is just another tool that is a part of a higher mission. I always tell you all that is part of a higher mission, just like we stated before. It's bringing in a frequency to the planet.
Mhm. And know that your partner wants you to love yourself wholly and completely. Like, know that your partner is banking on you being the greatest version of yourself. Like,
Hmm.
it's going to cause you to be a little selfish sometimes, and that's okay. It's going to cause you to, have to detach, and that's okay. Just know that your partner is wanting you to do these things, and your partner is loving these things about you. So
Exactly.
don't, like, have that fear that, they're going to go to someone else. That doesn't matter. It doesn't matter. It doesn't
Hmm.
matter at all. None of it matters, because your divine partner is always going to be there. Like,
Yep.
not like they're always going to be there. They're always going to be there. So this is how you know the difference between a regular partnership and a divine partnership. Nothing
Hmm.
can separate you, really. Like, nothing really in this reality can really separate you. Detachment is necessary because you need to find your power, or you need to do some inner work to help you to, move to the next level. So yeah.
Well, thank you all so much for joining. If you watched it now, if you're watching later, whenever, it's always the right time. It doesn't matter. These are timeless messages, of course. And join us next time. Of course, we have a new topic every week. This is episode upon episode, and it builds, but then we always go back and share different things too. But it also builds on past conversations. So if you haven't watched the other episodes, please go back to the Witches and Warlocks YouTube, like, share, and subscribe. Witches and Warlocks YouTube, if you haven't already, and look at past episodes because they do build, and we may reference another episode. Speaking on here, we may not go too deep, but we want you to definitely go and check those out. Like us on YouTube, share, like us on, follow us on Instagram. We do have a Witches and Warlocks on Instagram as well. And thank you so much for joining us. I'm the Black Fit Witch.
I'm Galactic Honey.
And we'll see you next time. Peace.